Welcome everyone. Today we're addressing an unusual yet captivating query. What if one day you woke up and there were no shadows? Sounds absurd, right? But let's explore how our world would transform without the existence of these silent, mysterious figures. To begin with, forget everything you knew about light. Our understanding of light would completely change if shadows didn't exist. Shadows are, after all, just an absence of light. Could we still perceive depth without that precious interplay between light and dark? Depth perception is fundamental to how we interact with our three-dimensional world. Would our perspective of size, distance, and space alter? Indeed, without shadows, the beauty of sunrise or sunset may cease to be mesmerizing. Artists would need to find new ways to give depth and dimension to their masterpieces. Light's entity would be a mystery, with no dark silhouette defining its presence. Our scientific understanding of eclipses and different phases of the moon could be compromised. An eclipse, after all, is nothing but the shadow of one celestial body falling on another. Without shadows, even our understanding of time would need to be redefined. In various cultures, shadows are considered as spiritual entities. So, with their disappearance, would our beliefs or mythologies take a dramatic shift? Storytelling might also possess a completely new taste without the element of shadows. Think of a world where nothing hides, where all is exposed under the unfiltered light. It's hard to imagine. Given such a scenario, creative minds would be put to a real test. With the absence of shadows, cinematography would have to adopt an entirely new visual grammar. After all, without the dramatic interplay of light and darkness, how would they visually express mood and emotion? Spectre stories wouldn't stand a chance either without these elusive elements. How scary would be a haunted house with no dark corners and shadowy figures? Not so frightening, I suppose. Now, on the brighter side, the absence of shadows may be a delight for some phobic individuals. They won't have any shadows to be afraid of after all. Sundials couldn't help us keep time without shadows, and perhaps we would become more dependent on technology. In essence, the absence of shadows would lead us to perceive the world in a whole new way. With that said, let's continue down this rabbit hole of thought and see where it leads us. Taking a stroll in a park without the professionalism of dappled light seems miserable, nor would children have the fortunes of tracing forms with sunlight and their innocent hands. Art and craft, too, would lose the jovial interplay of light and shade. Nature, on the other hand, wouldn't offer us those awe-inspiring sights of mountain caps decorated with sun-cast shadows. Our photographs would look rather flat, without the depth created by shadows. Even our selfies would lose their charm without the dramatic interplay of light and shadow. Vision scientists believe that our perception of depth comes mainly from shadows. Without them, our brains would have a harder time distinguishing distances and sizes. We'd live in a world that might seem visually flatter. Watching an eclipse, a phenomena charming enough to attract hordes of onlookers, wouldn't be dramatically different without shadows. And too, a world without shadows would be a world without contrast. And contrast, psychologists say, is one of the main ways we judge beauty and aesthetic appeal. So existence without shadows, again, sounds quite bleak. Whether it's creating an atmosphere in a movie, adding depth to a photograph, or helping us judge distance and size, shadows are more vital than we generally realize. Well, it might take some time to adjust to this thought experiment. But for now, let's appreciate the beauty of the world as it is, with all its light and shadow. Let us ponder this. Imagine watching your favorite movie film without its moody imagery set by shadows. The ominous villainous figure emerging from darkness, our surveillance of the protagonist's action through their shadow casting on walls, all cease to exist. Shadows not only add substance to our world, but also whisper an unheard language of beauty. They provide a sense of peace, tranquility, an intimate bond between light and darkness that balances the aesthetics of nature itself. From the cool shade under a tree in summers to the long shadows of winter afternoons, they are an integral part of our daily life. Shadows are the unsung elements that make our existence more visually eloquent and emotionally vibrant. As we near the conclusion, let me remind you, every ray of light is yearning for its shadow. They complete each other, making our world as beautiful as it is. I hope you enjoyed the journey of imagination with me today. Did I make you cherish the presence of shadows a little more now? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more such interesting thought experiments. Stay curious and keep exploring.